This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. Once again, all countdowns proceeding smoothly toward a liftoff at the opening of the window at 8:52 a.m. this morning. Launch weather is also acceptable at this time. Flight crew is now in the suit-up room, going through the final phase of their suit-up activities this morning before leaving for Launch Pad 39B. It's Commander John Casper being assisted there. And our pilot, Don McMonigal.
Okay. Thank you. Well, and nothing's been done for the first 600 feet.
And through the helmet, that appears to be Mission Specialist number 1, Mario Runco.
Okay. Everything's going all right over?
He'll be working much of the TDRS deployment activity. And going across the room, Mission Specialist number 3, Susan Helms. And Mission Specialist number 2 is Greg Harbaugh. We'll be doing an EVA on this flight. And again, John Casper, John McMonigal, Greg Harbaugh, Mario Runco, and Susan Helms. And we have verification that the contingency support is ready and that the emergency aircraft and emergency support is ready and that the emergency aircraft and emergency teams are on station. Now we see the hatch closure on Endeavour. After that closure is complete, then there will be a leak check of the crew cabin to verify that all seals are effective.
This is KSC Boat Director on 133. I'd like to do the final launch poll of the payloads team at this time to determine our readiness for launch. Director of Payload Operations, Tom Brakefield.
Yeah, John, Payload Engineering and Management, Firing Room 2 and the Marshall IUS project and C1 console and Firing 1 are ready.
Colonel Bob Thunker, IUS Test Director.
The IUS is configured and ready for launch. However, we do not go into launch commit until L-11, and if we're going to go into a hold, we don't want to proceed beyond that point.
Yeah, and we'll keep you posted on that, Bob. I'll know something shortly. TDRS Launch Manager, Tony Cambriati.
TDRS is ready to go.
Okay, we're going to try to give you a good ride today. Thank you very much. This is the final poll. From now on, please come to me directly if you have a problem.
That's the final poll of the payload team. We'll be doing a final status on launch readiness for weather. And we have approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this built-in hold. At T-minus 9 minutes and holding, this shuttle launch control.
And TDSRO. Go SRO. Have you got a clear LDA yet, step 995? That has not been verified yet. All right. NTD C-Prop. Go ahead, C-Prop. Okay, we had previously briefed that about a half hour ago, but we just got engine 2 helium supply pressure is reading 4,500. Our LC upper limit is 4,500, so we're skirting that upper limit. It's a measurement whose LCC is in effect right now. GLS6 is monitoring up at 5 minutes, 25 seconds. If we're out at 5 minutes, 25 seconds, we'll hold at T-minus 5 minutes, and we'll request that we bypass that measurement until T-minus 4 minutes and pick up during at that time. And we're good with the nose.
C-prop NTD, I copy that. SPE NTD 212, did you copy? SPE NTD 212.
Go ahead, NTD. Repeat, please.
Did you copy C-prop's discussion on the hill thrust?
You'd have to repeat it, please.
C-prop, go.
SPE, C-prop. Engine 2 helium bottle press, reading 4,500. The LCC upper limit is 4,500 gallons. We like request that that hits at 525. Bypass that until T-minus 4 minutes. That's a negative. Why? Only if we pass through the limit, John. If we hit 4510, because you'll hold us at 5 minutes. Affirmative, I understand. Copy that. But you're not going to control it with it GSD. You're just going to let it ride. That's affirmed. Okay, very good. I copy NTD.
Okay, thank you, SPE. And CGLS NTD 212. CGLS, go. Have you canceled pending? Yes, sir. I copy. And testing personnel is NTD. We're extending the T-minus 9 minute hold. An estimate would be on the order of 10 minutes. Flight NTD 212.
NTD flight?
Will the IMU missile line correct or the G1 launch poly update be required?
My understanding is that the IMU correction will not be required. My understanding is there is discussion about Dalalu at this time, so that's on. As of this time, I have no plans for re-uplifting ILOs.
I copy. OTC, PVD.
Go ahead, PVD.
Step 1048 is not performed. 1049 is complete.
Copy 1048, not. And is SPE 212. It appears that the table synchronization is complete on NOAA DPC.
I copy. Is there any checkout time involved, or will you declare?
I'll wait for them to come back. You is ready to do our limit change.
LPS NTD. This is LPS. Yes, sir. Is the reconfiguration complete?
All right, no, so we're setting it to 192 kilobit. We'll be 1 second.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
I copy.
A decision has been made to extend the hold for perhaps 10 minutes or so to take a final look at some things, take another look at the weather, and also to evaluate the I-loads that are on board. The feeling is that the current I-load parameters are not just nominal, then there would be some adjustment made to the program and the ground launch sequencer, which would enable the countdown to continue, since it would recognize that the nominal values are not on board. But at this time it would appear that this will probably not hold up our launch morning.
They're working it right now.
And SDE line on 164, IPR 118 on the fuel cell issue. Is that OMRS been with this time?
Yeah, they're working the waivers on 161 right now.
Copy. And 165 CCME is IPR 119.
They're all being worked by the other SP on 161.
CMQC NTD 212.
Go ahead.
How many open items are you showing on the list?
2.
162 and 164? Copy.
NTD Houston flight?
No flight.
Yeah, we got just a couple of little notes for the crew to read up on his rates.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Endeavour Houston, got an update on your no-com boundaries?
Houston Endeavour, go ahead.
Okay, John, press to radio should be 11,200, and press to MECO should be 13,500, and I've also got your Block 1 traj message for page 8-5 in the ascent checklist when you're...
Okay, go ahead with 8-5.
Okay, max rates first stage, roll 2 degrees per second at 0 seconds. Pitch 1 degrees per second at 0 seconds. Yaw 0. Lofted 0 nautical miles NA.
Thanks, we copy all that.
All of this discussion regards the I-load profile, which tells the vehicle what the angle of attack should be at various times and speeds during the ascent. These parameters have the flexibility to be adjusted both on the orbiter and on the ground where necessary. There are 8 secondary computer programs plus the primary one, so there is plenty of flexibility to launch based on the upper level patterns and missions. The current adjustments are being made based on data received from the gem spheres from the weather balloon, and all of this data then is fed into the computers. And as we said, it would appear that we will extend the built-in hole while this is done, and there's a last look taken at the weather.
CDR, NTD, air to ground 1. Radio. Okay, John, we're working just a couple items on the constraints list. We believe it's all paper at this time. We have 2 OMRS waivers in work. Once they're fully dispositioned, that should clean up the constraints, and we should be ready to pick the clock. And we're estimating just a few more minutes on that paperwork. Okay, thanks for the update.
Mission Management Team Chairman Brewster Shaw is now polling his team as to readiness to resume the countdown. And we'll be awaiting a final mark on when the countdown will pick up.
NTD, Launch Director, 212.
NTD.
Okay, copied your previous briefing. I think the status now is all the supporting elements should be ready to support you taking your pole. The exception being the reconfiguration back at the integration console with the ground launch sequencer. So my recommendation would be go into your pole and see where we are with all those elements, and then go from there. So I wouldn't think we'll be here much more than another 5 minutes.
I copy and concur with that. And for ITC, we will be giving the 2-minute heads up before coming out of the hold at T-minus 9 minutes.
And ITC copies.
And at this time, is NTD on 212 conducting the launch status check. Verify ready to resume the count and go for launch. Say go or no go. OTC.
OTC's go. Those 2 paper items are the only thing.
TBC.
TBC go.
TTC.
TTC's go.
LPS.
LPS go.
Flight.
Flight is go.
Mila.
Milo's go.
STM.
STM.
Safety console.
Safety's go.
SDE.
SDL has to get back.
CDR.
CDR's go.
LRD.
LRD's go.
SRO.
NTD, if you can give me a clear LDA on KSC, I can give you a go in just a moment. That'd be step 995.
Stand by. Safety console NTD 212.
Safety go.
We have a KSC clear for launch.
That's affirmed by 983 at 0832.
Copy. SRO KSC air is clear for launch.
SRO copy. Stand by.
Momentarily, we'll be standing by for a go from the payload test conductor that the inertial upper stage has been configured for flight.
162 clear. Thank you.
NTD SRO.
Go SRO.
Range is go. You have our clear to launch.
Copy that. Launch director NTD.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We are ready to proceed the count with the exception of SP is still working the reconfiguration, and we have one open item on the constraints list. CFCP is IPR, which is going OMRS waiver.
All right, going with the verbal concurrence on that, so that paperwork not be a constraint.
Okay, copy. And do we have an estimate from integration on their reconfig?
SPE NTD 212.
Go ahead, NCD, this is SPE.
How are you doing on your reconfiguration? We need an estimate on when you'll be complete.
CLS is complete. We've performed the limit change. We've set everything back up and where we go, but Charlie's still working something on 161. Otherwise, CLS is ready to resume the count.
Okay, I copy.
Report that the ground launch sequencer has now been reconfigured.
The management pole at this time.
I copy.
Payload operations.
Payload's a go, Bob.
Copy. Engineering.
Bob, engineering's go.
Copy. Safety and quality.
Safety and quality's go, Bob.
Copy, Al. And Cape weather.
Launch sector, we have no launch weather constraints violated. Steady state wind forecast from 200 degrees at 12 knots, over.
Copy. And ops manager, launch director.
Bob, we've cleared all the constraints and the MMT is ready to proceed with the launch.
Copy. Thank you, sir. TD launch director.
NT.
Okay, did you get a confirmation back from SPE?
Negative. SPE NTD 212.
Okay, NTD SPE, we positioned all the open items, and SPE is ready to pick up the clock.
Okay, the reconfiguration for LCS?
Reconfiguration of GLS is complete.
And all constraint items have been waived? Or
Well, that's affirmative.
Okay, I copy. A launch director NTD, that leaves the launch team fully ready to support the launch.
Okay, copy. Well, it looks like we ought to give Endeavour and their crew a chance to take a look at this weather from on orbit, so you have a go to proceed.
I copy. CISL, RPS, Houston Flight, activate recorders.
RPS copies.
Houston flight copies.
GLS NTD, set a resume time of 13:50:30 GMT.
13:50:30 GMT.
That's affirmed. ITC NTD, did you copy?
ITC copies.
ICTC PTC and ESTC PTC.
ICTC.
ESTC.
Okay, T-minus 9 clock will pick up the count at 13:50:30 GMT.
ESTC copies.
PTC, ICT.
Go ahead.
I can give you a step 1075.
TC copy.
Payload test conductor Mike Lombardo being given a go that the inertial upper stage is in the flight configuration.
NTDC ISL. Go ISL. Recorders are activated. Copy that. NTD ITC 212. Go ITC. Cargo hold fire system is enabled and IUS is go for launch. Copy that.
The countdown clock will resume on my mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
GLS auto sequence has been initiated.
Ground launch sequencer now controlling all events, up to the handoff to Endeavour's onboard computers at T-minus 31 seconds.
1090, 21 not performed.
Copy that.
PLT, would you configure the fuel cell essential bus source switch?
PLT inlet.
The orbiter test conductor has requested the Houston flight controller send stored program commands, which are the final update of the antenna management and any frequency changes. This update ensures that the orbiter has the latest information to communicate with the tracking stations and the tracking and data relay satellite system. T-minus 7 minutes, 30 seconds.
Let's go for orbiter access arm retract.
Going now to retract the orbiter S arm from Endeavour. In an emergency, the arm can be re-extended in just 15 seconds if that's necessary. In about another 45 seconds, the orbiter test conductor will give pilot Don McMonagle a go to perform the APU pre-start, or the auxiliary power unit pre-start procedure. He'll be setting switches in the cockpit to put the APUs in the ready-to-start configuration, which occurs at T-minus 5.
KRPS, start the APU and hydraulic script chart recorders. PLT, perform APU pre-start.
PLT inward.
And Monagle should report back when that's complete. Go has been given to start the orbiter's flight recorders.
APU pre-start's complete with 3 direct talkbacks.
Copy.
APU pre-start. AUs will start here in just about another 45 seconds. And that command will be given by the orbiter test conductor. T-minus 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Standing by for go for APU start. T-minus 5 minutes.
TLS, let's go for orbiter APU start.
PLT, perform APU start. CDR, reconfigure heaters.
John Casper being asked to reconfigure the heaters for launch, and he'll report that. He'll report that when it's complete. We're also now verifying that the range safety system on the external tank is on, followed by the solid rocket booster safe and arm devices.
APU start complete.
APU start is complete, and we're now draining back liquid oxygen, LOX drain back, which stops the circulation conditioning of liquid oxygen to the main engines.
TLS, let's go for sequence 4.
This purge sequence 4 is a purge on chamber coolant valves on the main engines to prepare for main engine start. Getting ready to transfer to internal power now from ground power. Orbiter flight controls is underway. Gimbaling of the main engines, that's the final steering check of the main engines. Main engines are now in the start position. Beginning now to pressurize the liquid oxygen tank on the tank.
LO2 pressurization.
Retraction of the gaseous oxygen vent hood should begin here momentarily.
PLC, you want to clear caution and warning me and verify no unexpected errors. PLT.
Fuel systems are now transferring to your own internal reactants. The ground supply of hydrogen and oxygen to the fuel cells is being turned off. The orbiter is now on internal power.
And flight crew, close and lock your visors, initiate your O2 flow. Have a good mission. Our best goes with you.
We are in work, and we're looking to a safe and successful flight of Endeavour to start off the new year.
Replenishment of liquid hydrogen to the external tank now being terminated.
LH2 pressurization.
T-minus 90 seconds. A minute and a half away from launch. Preparing the liquid hydrogen tank up to flight pressure. T-minus 1 minute. Ground launch sequencer now verifying the main engines are ready for start. The heaters around the joints of the solid rocket boosters are being turned off. The residual hydrogen igniters have now been armed. They'll fire at T-minus 10 seconds to burn off any residual hydrogen under the main engine nozzles. Sound suppression water system will start at T-minus 16. Standing by for the handoff. T-minus 31 seconds.
Go for auto sequence start.
Endeavour's onboard computers now controlling.
25.
Flight data recorders now recording. Your hydraulic power units have started.
15.
Sound suppression water system is working. Safety inhibits removed.
TLSs go for main engine start.
7, 6, main engine's up and running. 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff of the Space Shuttle Endeavour with NASA's newest tracking station in the sky.
All program Houston.
Roger, roll, Endeavour.
Houston is now controlling. Endeavour's on its way and is rolled to a course due east away from the launch pad for its fit orbit. Seconds since liftoff. Endeavour's already traveling 450 miles an hour. Altitude 1.5 miles. Downrange from the launch pad 1 mile east. 3 engines now throttled back, 2/3 throttled to prepare the spacecraft to the area of maximum air pressure.
Endeavour Houston, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up.
Endeavour's back at full throttle. Speed now 1,400 miles an hour, 8 miles east of the launch pad, altitude 11.5 miles. A minute and 45 seconds launch. Endeavour's already used more than 2.5 million of propellant. The shuttle weighs less than half of what it did at liftoff. Altitude now 20 miles, 19 miles east of the launch pad. Current speed 2,800 miles an hour. Flight controller standing by for burnout and jettison of the twin solid rockets. Good solid rocket booster separations confirmed. Altitude 29 miles, 36 miles east of Kennedy Space Center. Speed now 3,100 miles an hour.
For Houston, performance nominal.
Performance nominal.
Call indicating that Endeavour's performance thus far is just as planned. Speed now 3,400 miles an hour, 51 miles east of Kennedy. Altitude 37 miles. Endeavour's are above most of Earth's atmosphere.
Endeavour Houston, 2-engine Ben Guerrier.
2-engine Ben.
Endeavour could now perform an emergency transit landing in spite of an engine failure. Altitude now 45 miles, 77 miles east of Kennedy Space Center. Current speed 4,090 miles an hour. Three engines continue to operate well at full throttle. Good hydraulics, good electrical systems.
Endeavour Houston, negative return.
Negative return.
4 minutes, 10 seconds since liftoff. Endeavour's now gained too much altitude and is traveling too fast to return to the Kennedy Space Center in the event of an emergency. Altitude now 55 miles, 142 miles east of the Space Center. Speed 5,300 miles an hour. Three good engines continue to operate well. Good hydraulic systems, good electrical systems.